All right. There we go. So let's move to our practice space. I suggest taking off the socks or shoes if you have those on. And as you come to seated, keep your belt nearby. If you have two blocks, I'm going to suggest you take one on its flattest surface and bring that between your feet so you can hug the feet together. So it'll be on the inner edge and you want to be hugging. And then the second one can go between your knees, or actually between your thighs. We don't want it pressing on the knees, right? And on the bone, that can be uncomfortable. If you do not have two blocks, simply use the one between your thighs and you can dispense with the one between your feet. But notice as we line this up and find a seat, so you might need to come a little more forward on your chair to sit up tall, how this starts to line up, and notice how the knees caps line up with the shins, right? And the shins with the ankles and down through the center of the foot towards those second and third toes. So that's the alignment that we want. So make sure you have the block at the narrowest width. Chris, I think you have it wider. If you could take it narrower, it'll be a lot more comfortable. And I would even take it instead of this way, I would take it so the narrowest edges between your legs, unless that feels really good to be thicker, but we're going to start with pretty narrow. Feel free to adjust. All right. So roll your shoulders back. And then relax your shoulders away from the ears. Soften your gaze as you take a breath in. Think about breathing up the spine, lengthening through the crown of your head as your feet stay firmly on the floor. And as you exhale, keep that length, sending the breath down the spine into your sits bones. And do that again. Inhale, lengthen through the spine, up through the crown of the head, and exhaling down the back into the sits bones and down into the earth. We'll do that twice more. So breathing up, lengthening, keeping that length as you send the breath back down and back down towards the earth. And last time. Pause here. Take that inventory. How do I feel today? What's going on in my body, in my mind, my spirit? And then invite in an intention for your practice. So if your knees are sensitive or an area of concern, instead of saying, I'm going to care for my bad knees, which has a negative in it, then my knees are getting healthier each day. Or I care for my knees. Or I offer love and compassion to, could be knees, could be my hips or my low back, whatever it is. Let it be a positive sense of bringing in health and wellness. Good. Allow your eyes to softly open towards the floor. We're going to start with some whole body circles. We're going to leave the blocks where they are so long as you're comfortable. So let your chin come towards your chest. Feel the heaviness of your head. Don't force it towards your chest. Let the weight of the head be here. And then we're going to begin to circle the head to the right, moving slowly around to the left and back to center, and take the head to the right again. And you may notice I'm not taking my head back very much because I don't want to compress the cervical vertebrae. This next circle, see if you can let the shoulders move. You might find there's a little rounding and arching, dipping of the shoulders as we take a couple more circles. And continue to let those circles get bigger, bringing a little bit more of your back and your spine in, moving in a way that feels best for you. You can keep your hands on your thighs. You may find holding the side of the chair makes you feel a little more secure. I'm pretty far forward on my chair, so if you are the same, holding the chair might give you a sense of safety. And take one last circle, whatever size you've chosen. And as you come back to neutral, head to neutral, gaze at the floor, something in front of you that's steady. pause, notice how that felt in your spine. We're going to go the other direction. So let your chin come towards your chest. Pause first to notice any sensations. Might be a little different now that we've moved some. And then begin to rotate to your left. And we want to start and isolate first the neck and that cervical spine. Keep the spine long and the abs engaged. We're going to talk more about core as we move into the summer months. And then start to invite in the shoulders and the upper back. And have your hands where it's most comfortable for you. Continue to let those shoulders get bigger. If that feels good, maybe you find a place where that's just what you need today. Let's take 2 more circles, whatever direction, however big or small you're making them. And after that second circle, as you come back to center, pause. Notice how that feels. Gaze softly towards the floor so you can really take your attention in rather than looking at me. All right, let's do a little work for shoulders. So on an inhale, lift the shoulders up towards your ears, squeeze them tight. And as you exhale, let them drop. We're going to do that twice more. So lift them up on the breath in. Let them go with a sigh. One more time, lifting them up. And let them go. Good. Roll them gently. First one direction. And then the other direction. Good. Bring your fingertips to your shoulders. And now, as if you were doing swimming, you're going to forward stroke with the elbows. Notice how the whole torso moves. Remember, everything's connected. We're not forgetting about those thighs. We're going to get to them. And then switch to a backstroke. And if you want to follow that elbow back and really turn and twist a bit, that can feel nice. And then coming back to center, fingertips still in your shoulders, open the arms out to the side, feel that lengthening, and then bring fingertips back to your shoulders and open, stretch through the whole chest and bring them back. And one more time, bring them out. And this time, make a gentle fist and circle your wrists a little bit. And then circle the other way. Good. Bringing your hands to stillness, press your palms out, straighten your elbows, big stretch through the inner arm. And then soften your arms, bring your hands in front of your chest in prayer. And we're going to press our hands to the right and turn the head to the left. Keep holding that block when your legs, try not to forget it, and come back to center. And then go to the other side. So we're using the blocks here for stability in the lower body and back to center. Now let's take some circles. So circle your hands, follow it with your gaze. Let's do 2 in this direction. And then next time your hands come down around your chest, pause, and then circle twice in the other direction. Good. As we come to center, let's extend the arms forward. And then turning the wrist, bring your fingertips back towards your chest. I'm going to turn sideways a little bit. So arms come forward. And then we're going to bring the hands back towards the chest. Easier said than done, right? And arms forward and back towards the chest. Good. Coming back to center, bring the elbows together. We've been doing this a lot lately. Interlace your fingers and now make figure 8s with your wrists. And go slowly. You don't have to go fast. See if you can keep the forearms touching. So rather than having them separated, try and keep the elbows touching. And then can you switch and go the other way? That's always it. So it's not your shoulders that are moving, it's your wrists. So rather than coming this way, really try and make it just about the wrist. Yeah, harder, isn't it? Good. All right. With hands still interlaced, let's press our palms forward, round our backs. Inhale, lift up, be nice and tight. Stretch. We're going to take a twist. So as you release your arms, let your hands float down and turn to your right. So my hands are coming all the way down to the chair and my leg. And then as you take a breath in, arms reach up and you come to center, and then let the arms drop as you come to the left. And come back up to center with your arms and bring your hands to your thighs, bending forward a little bit. Just, you might have to shuffle that block down a little further. Press into your thighs and come up to center and take any upper body movement you need. Shake it out. Shake out your hands, roll the shoulders, whatever you need here. All right, let's start to work on the lower body. And the block is here for a purpose today because we want to strengthen these inner thigh muscles. Those are hard to strengthen. It's easy to, with like chair pose and climbing stairs to strengthen these outer ones, but it's the inner ones that can really have an influence on the tracking of the knee. So with your block here, I want to, as we exhale, we're going to squeeze the block slowly. Now, we're not going to squeeze it so hard that as if we were trying to make the block pop out between our thighs. You want to squeeze it to maybe 50% of your ability. So take a breath in. And as you exhale, slowly squeeze for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. And then we're going to release on the inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're releasing just enough so we don't lose the block. As you exhale, squeeze again. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just using my hands to show you what we're doing. And then release. 2, 3, 4. And twice more. Squeeze. 2, 3, 4. And release. 2, 3, 4. Last one. Squeeze. 2, 3, 4. Release. 2, 3, 4. Good. Now let's turn the block just like 45 degrees. And that may mean that your feet come a little wider and you're not pressing the block here. And let's try that again, right? So this time the block's a little bit wider and we're going to squeeze 2, 3, 4 and release 2, 3, 4. So really visualize those inner muscles as we squeeze 2, 3, 4 and release 2, 3, 4. Let's do one more. Squeeze 2, 3, 4 and release 2, 3, 4. Good. And remove the block. Notice how that felt. So we're working these inner quadricep muscles. Now grab your belt. I'm just going to push that block out of my way. And we're going to take the belt. So we worked the adductors. Now we're going to work the abductors. So you're going to take your belt around your thighs. And we want to pull it through the loop. So it depends on what kind of a belt you have. I have a double loop on mine. Right? So we have to pull it through both of them and then through one singly. So it's going to depend on yours. Don't tie it because we're going to need to be able to change the width of this. So if you're using a TheraBand, you might need to tie it, right? The thing is we're going to start right with the feet about hip distance apart, that same distance that we had our block. And then we're eventually going to bring this a little tighter. If you don't have the belt, you can certainly use your hands on the outside because what we're going to do now is that same thing, but we're going to press out into the belt. So we're starting to work now the outer hip muscles up into the glutes. Okay, so I have my block here just as a way to set. You don't have to use the block, but I find that helpful. And with the belt nice and firm without cutting off circulation, we're not trying to create a tourniquet here, right, around the thighs. What we're going to do is this time we're going to press out 2, 3, 4. And then as we inhale, release 2, 3, 4. And exhale, press out 2, 3, 4. Release 2, 3, 4. We'll do that twice more. Press out 2, 3, 4. Release 2, 3, 4. Last one. Press out 2, 3, 4 and release 2, 3, 4. Now, if you're using the block, you can turn the block on its end. So now it's on its tall side, right? And bring your feet a little narrower and cinch that belt a little bit tighter. Again, you want it firm and it's around my upper thighs. It's nowhere near my knees. It's in that upper thighs. I'm just pulling on the strap so it's a little tighter. And if it slips, sometimes it helps just to hold the end of the strap. And we're going to do that same thing again. We're going to press outward 2, 3, 4, and then soften 2, 3, 4. And I see a couple people having trouble with belts. So as you're ready, right? If you don't have the belt or the belt is causing you to just use your hands, right? And then relax 2, 3. So just use your hands if the belt isn't working and press out. So I have my hands on the outer part of my thigh so I can press out into them and release and do that one more time. Press out and slowly release. All right, and then you can loosen the belt here. We're going to be using our belt later on, so if you want to undo that, not now, so it's ready. So if you were to do this and you didn't necessarily have your block or your belt handy, what you could do, right, is to make two fists. I just want to show you this and have your fists between, right? So I have my thumb, the side of fist here, and you could press in against your fist and resist, right? And do it that way. And then to press out, you just have your hands on your thighs and press out into your hands. It requires a little more upper body work, and I wanted you to have the benefit of using the block. All right, so let's shake out the legs for a minute. Wasn't so much the exercise that was difficult there as maybe making the block and the belt, work those in a different way. All right, so let's start to bring some more mobility into the hip and work down into the knee. So holding your chair for support, sit up nice and tall and lift your right thigh, and let's circle that thigh. Make the circles whatever size is best for you. We're gonna do about 5 circles each direction. And you can feel that you're working this quad muscle. And if you want a little extra resistance, you can bring your hand to the thigh. Switch directions once you've done 5 or 6. Right? And just that little bit of resistance, not a lot, can add to that work. Good. Coming to center, you can either support it with your hands or hold the chair. Straighten your knee and then bend the knee. We're just bringing some mobility into that knee. Straighten and bend and straighten and bring your heel down to the floor. And here, circle your ankle a little bit because remember, this starts to work the calf muscles, which we know are important. Switch directions if you haven't already. Good. And then flex and point your foot a little bit. You're working to that Achilles tendon. Good. And then bring that leg in and give that thigh a nice massage because it worked hard there. All right, we're going to go to the other side. So we're going to lift the left thigh and circle. So while this is working the hip joint, we're also working those quads to make them stronger. Switch directions when you're ready, right? If you need to hold the thigh, have that extra support with both hands, go ahead and do that. Good. Come to stillness. We're going to straighten the leg forward. So holding the chair or even supporting the back of the thigh and then bend the knee and straighten and bend and straighten. Good. Lower the heel down and circle your ankle. Make sure you're sitting tall. Switch directions if you haven't already. And then flex and point a couple times. Good. Let's bring that leg in. And again, give a little work there because I don't know about you. I felt that work in my quads. That was the point. All right, now we're going to do a little marching. So for marching, right, you know, soldiers' arms move. So we're going to move our arms and we're just going to take them to shoulder height. So as we lift one knee, we're going to lift the opposite arm. And as if we're marching in our chair. So marching, if you want to take that arm up overhead, you can, right? The higher up you take your arm, the more aerobic the activity is. But if you want to stay nice and low, right? And you don't have to lift the foot far. It could really stay close to the ground. But we're lifting using those quads. This is a good seated exercise. And do you feel the core work at the same time? Kind of hard to work on knees without working on core. Isn't that interesting? Let's do 2 more. 1, 2, and stop. All right. Everybody getting a little warm and feeling that work in their quads. Excellent. I'm just checking my notes here. So next, let's do a straight leg lift. So holding the chair, come to the very front edge of your chair as if you're almost going to fall off. So that's why it's important to hold the chair and extend the right foot, heel on the floor. And we're going to use the strength of our quad to lift the leg. So on an inhale, you're going to lift your heel up off the floor any amount. Hold for 1, 2, 3, and lower it back down. We've been working on this. So inhale, lift, nice strong belly. Hold 1, 2, 3, and lower. 2 more if you're able. Lift, hold 1, 2, 3, lower down. Last one, hold 1, 2, 3, and lower it down. You really feel the work there. And now just stretch out the back of the leg. Take a breath in, hold the sides of your chair. Exhale, bring your belly forward. Look at your toes or just past your toes. So your spine is long, and you should feel the stretch in the back of your leg. If you're feeling it in your spine, that means you're probably rounding a lot in your spine. So lengthen here. Take 2 more breaths here. Should be a nice stretch into the calf and the hamstring. And then use your last inhale to come up to center. Bring that leg in, shake it out a little bit. All right, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So check your posture, hold your chair, extend the left foot, and we're going to lift as high as you can lift. So as you inhale, lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, and lower it back down. And 3 more, lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, and lower back down. Lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, and lower. Last one, lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, and lower. Great job. Sit up nice and tall. Big breath in, exhale, belly towards thighs. We want to feel that stretch all down the back of the leg. Right, so we're looking just past our toes. Spine is long, it's not rounded. 2 more breaths here. And then inhale up to center. Bring that leg in, shake it out, do whatever you need to. And to just kind of relieve any tension in this lower body, let's take our knees wide, a little wider than our chair, hands on your knees. And we're going to do a little Charleston knee. So we're going to bring the knees towards each other and cross the hands. And then we're going to open the knees and hands uncross. See if you can cross the opposite hand on top and then open. So cross and open, cross and open. Let's do it one more time each, switching which wrist is on top. Excellent. So let's work our way up to standing. You are going to need your 2 blocks. So grab those as you come to standing. The belt we'll use when we come back down to seated. So I like to put my blocks on my chair so I don't have to keep bending down, and just position your chair where you need it. We're going to start with some heel lifts, right? That ostensibly works those calf muscles, but we're also going to feel some work in our quads as we do this. So I'm going to stand facing you. If you're more comfortable standing facing your chair with both hands on the chair, please do what's best for you. But first, check that you have that nice parallel stance. Notice if your knees are locked. So sometimes, right, I press my knees way back. I want to bring just a little softness to the knees. So know yourself. And then we're going to work on lifting the heels and holding, and let's do a 3 count hold. So as you inhale and rock into the balls of your feet and lift your heels, let's stay here for 1, 2, 3, and then lower your heels down and rock back in your heels. Lift your toes just a little bit and rock forward into the balls of your feet. Lift your heels and hold for 1, 2, 3, and lower the heels, rock back and lift the toes. We're going to do that twice more. So rocking forward, lifting the heels, stay here for 1, 2, 3, lower back down, lift your toes. And if you want to let go this time in balance, go for it. And lift and hold 1, 2, 3. Great job. And lower those heels down. Good. Shake out your legs. Excellent. Let's move into our warrior series next. So we're going to turn and face the chair, right? And we're going to take the right foot forward, the left foot back. We are going to use the blocks, so no worries. Okay. And for our warrior today, we've been working with an arm pattern. Today, I want to work with just a simple cactus arm. So you might just do one arm as we bend the knee. We want to first check that we're having that tracking. So remember that idea of the knee going towards the outer edge of the foot. So you can come into a cactus arm, and then we'll straighten the knee and lower the arm. So let's do that 4 times, and then we'll hold for 4 breaths. If you want to do both arms, please do. So as we inhale, we bend the knee, both arms come up into cactus. Check the alignment of your knee, and then lower your arms and straighten the knee. We're going to do that 3 more times. So bend your knee, arms come up, pause, and exhale, lower back down. 2 more. Inhale, arms are nice and wide, like you're making a goalpost. Arms come down. This time we're going to come up and stay. So if you need to hold the chair for balance, please take care of yourself. So take a breath in, get tall. Check your alignment of that left knee. Nice and strong. 1 more breath. Good. And then lower your arms, and we're going to turn ourselves sideways to our chair. Okay. So we're going to turn our feet towards the chair. We're coming into a warrior two stance now. And again, we want to check, do I have that alignment of my knee? And this time I'm going to suggest that we open the arms from the heart. If you need to hold the chair, just use your back arm. So starting here, if you're able, as we bend the knee, we're going to open the arms and we're going to look towards the direction of that bent knee. For me, it's on the left side. And then come back to center. And inhale and open. And come back. And inhale and open. And come on back. And this time, let's open and stay for 4 breaths. So check that knee. If you need to bring your hand down and remind yourself, might take the knee towards the outer edge of my foot. 2 more breaths because I was talking. And from here, we're going to go into reverse warrior. So hand down to your chair, hand to your back waist. Right? You can make your little hand mirror, or you can simply arch back. So it could be here, or you might take that mirror up above like you're taking a selfie. Right? That's the way we do these things now. Right? I always think of, Snow White and the looking glass with that wicked witch. But I guess that's out of date now. And then come back to center, hands to the chair. And now with legs straight, we're going to come into triangle. So this is a nice stretch for the back of our legs. So let your pelvis move away from the chair so that your body comes towards it. I'm keeping my hand on my waist, hand is on the chair, back. I want you to rotate your ribs up and open up your chest to look over that back shoulder. And you should be feeling a nice stretch in the inner thigh area that we worked earlier. You can stay here, or if you want to extend the hand that's on your waist straight up to the sky, you can. But that might not feel good for your shoulder, in which case don't. If you feel you can go lower and you want to bring your hand to the chair seat, feel free to do that. But keep opening up in your chest. 1 more breath here. Nice. And then bend that knee closest to your chair slightly as you come up to center. Turn your feet parallel and step yourself in, shake out for a moment. We're going to work with baby dancer, and I want to add an arm to this today. So you're going to balance on your outer leg because we're going to be raising this outer arm. So for baby dancer, we're going to shift our weight into the leg that's furthest from the chair, be tall and strong, and then bend the knee that's closest to the chair and aim to bring your knees parallel. So often when the knee comes in front, we want them side by side, and flex your foot. I'm going to turn sideways. That will help activate the muscles around your knee. And then you can now take this outside arm and lift it up as you come into baby dancer. And if you're feeling really brave and strong today, you let go of the chair even for a second and really come into the balance. Nice work. All right, let's hold the chair, lower arm, lower our leg. Give your hips a little shift because it's a lot of work in that standing leg. And I invite you to take a down dog here. So holding your chair, walk yourself back. And we want to stretch into our hamstrings a bit here. So bend your knees, really lengthen your spine, send your tailbone right towards the wall behind you, and then start to straighten the legs any amount so you feel a stretching in the backs of the legs and the backs of the thighs. Nice. When you're ready, soften your knees, lift your head, walk in towards the chair. Roll your shoulders for a moment. And we're just going to switch the chair to the other side so we can do that same flow on this side. So we're going to start facing our chair. This time, right foot is forward, left foot is back. So opposite of what you did last time. So Susan and Brian, you might want to have the other foot forward because when we open up to warrior, right, you're going to open up towards the screen and it'll be a little bit easier for you. All right, we're going to work with the cactus arm. So your choice is to do the one arm or both. So as we bend the knee, that right knee, we're going to bring our arms up and check that you have that alignment in your knee, and then lower your arms and straighten the knee. If you need to hold the chair, please do. So we're going to do that again. Bend, arm comes up, and then the arm comes down by your side as you straighten the knee. Nice, looks good. We're going to do 2 more, and we'll hold that last one for 4 breaths. So as you come into the pose this time, we're going to stay holding the chair or not, do what's best. And really work those legs. Feel the strength in that bent knee in the quad. that we're working that, strengthening it. And then straighten your knee, lower your arm, and we're going to turn sideways to our chair now. And feet will orient towards the chair. Good. All right, I'm going to open the arms out from the chest. So if you need to hold the chair and do just the back arm, please do that. And as we bend our knee, we're going to open and check that alignment. If you need to take your hand to the thigh to support it, you do that. And then we'll come back to center. Let's do 3 more of those. So bend and open, check that knee, look down, give it a check, and come back to center. 2 more, open, checking that knee, back to the middle. And this time we're going to open and stay for 4 breaths. So I have my palms forward, but if you want to take palms down, or if you want to work your shoulders a bit more and palms up, so I'll give you all those options to play with. Look out towards that bent knee. So we hold, strengthen your legs. Nice job. And then lower your arms, straighten the knee, and let your hand come to your waist. Right? Lengthen the spine. Remember, both legs are straight here. We're going to shift our hips away from the chair so your upper body comes towards the chair. Right? You should be feeling stretch in this inner thigh, right, in the back, into the hamstrings. And then take your bottom ribs and start to rotate them and look up over that back shoulder. Remember, you can stay here. You can raise your arm up to the sky. You can bring your fingertips down to the seat of your chair if you want to go a little deeper. So make this pose your own and do what feels best for you. 1 more breath. Nice job. And then bend that front knee closest to your chair. Press into the foot. Come up to center. Turn your feet parallel and walk yourself in. Shake out your legs for a minute. And maybe wiggle the hips a little bit. Nice. All right, we're going to do baby dancer on this side. So remember, this is the outer leg. We're going to be our standing leg. So press into that outer foot. Get nice and tall here. And then bend the knee that's closest to your chair. You want to bring those knees parallel or as close as we can get. Foot is flexed. And then if you want to add that outer arm of lengthening, you can. If you want to let go of the chair for a moment, you can. Nice. Keep lengthening. 1 more breath. Don't hold your breath. And then holding the chair, lower your arm, lower your leg, shake it out. Beautiful balancing today. That's not an easy pose, and I can see everybody making progress. Let's now come into down dog once more. So walking back. Remember, this time we want to focus on getting to hamstrings. So start by lengthening, pulling your tailbone away, and then straightening your legs as much as you can through the backs of the knees, even walking back a bit further if you need to feel that lengthening and stretching into the hamstrings. Soften your knees a bit, look towards your chair, walk in, and roll your shoulders a bit. Good. All right, let's grab our blocks real quick. We're going to use them the same way we did in the chair. So again, think about what's going to make you feel safest. I'm going to bring 1 block between my feet and another one between my knees. I want to have it on the narrowest width of the block and make sure that it's going above the knees, that you're not pressing the knees into it, because that might hurt or cause bruising. We don't want to do that. If the block between your feet doesn't work, right, feel free to dispense with that. But it does help a little bit with a sense of alignment, because we're going to work into chair pose now. So standing tall, roll the shoulders back. And let's just start with a mountain pose. So we're going to inhale, reach the arms out to the side and up, lengthen, squeezing the block between the thighs and keeping that squeeze. Bend your knees. Arms can stay up above or they can come down to shoulder height. Depends on what feels better for your upper back. And then straighten your legs, reach up, and let your arms float down by your side. So we want to keep squeezing that block to work those inner thighs. So do that again with me. Inhale, reach up, lengthen through the fingertips, squeeze the blocks between your thighs, bend your knees, keep the arms lifted this time. Let's see, bend your knees. Right. Yeah, so that you're really working the lower body. Good. And then straighten the legs. Nice work. And lower the arms. We're going to do it 2 more times. If you need to sit down and take a break, please do what's best for you. So inhale, reach up. Exhale, bend your knees. Make sure that you're bending at the knees. So it's not a big bend. If I turn sideways here, you'll see I'm not going very far. I'm not trying to stick my bum way back. I'm not arching my back. Press into your feet, lengthen, and lower down. We're working to strengthen those quads. So only as far as you need there. Last one. So reaching up, lengthen here. Exhale, bend your knees. If your shoulders are getting tired and you want to bring your arms in front of you, you can, but make sure that you're not pulling with the shoulders, that the shoulders are back, that the knees are bent. You're squeezing your block. One more breath. Good. Press into your feet, lengthen, and release the arms down. Good. Roll out your shoulders. Let's move those blocks out of the way. Just put them on your chair seat for the moment. And let's take a moment for some empty coat sleeve action, just to release all that tension. So nice, good work, right? Strengthening in those quads. We're going to do a little bit more as we come down to our chairs. So take your time and let's take the chair, reposition it, blocks by your side, belt handy. I'll keep the block and the belt at the side for the moment. So let's start with the left leg, just because we always tend to start with the right. Yeah, I just set it on the floor next to me. Right? Just lift and do a little side to side rocking and a little circling. Maybe straighten the knee a little bit, circle the ankle. Excellent. And then let's grab our belt and we're going to use this like a lasso. So we're going to make nice wide, right, loop that we can step on, right? I put it on the floor and then stepped into it. And then I can walk my hands down either side of the belt so I can lift my foot. And I tend to lift a little higher, but if you need to stay close to the ground, do that. Notice if you're tight in your shoulders, so relax your shoulders, maybe walk your arms further forward so you can use that relaxed shoulder to create a little tension on the belt. And we've already warmed up the hip a bit, so I want you to begin to press your heel away and use the belt to draw the toes towards you. We want to stretch now all these muscles that we've worked. Breathe here. And then holding the belt in your left hand, use your right hand to hold the chair, open it out to the side. Let's really work to stretch those inner thigh muscles. We did some of that in our triangle pose. Make sure you're sitting up tall. This right knee may go out to the side a little bit. And then bring it back to center. And then we either bring that ankle to rest on your thigh or grab your block and use that in front of you. We're going to use the belt again in a moment, so leave it to the side there. Okay. All right. So if you can be here, great. If you want the block underneath. Right. And let's do a little bit of pressing on the thigh, right? Inviting the opening. So we don't want to press on the knee joint itself, press on the thigh. If your knee is way up here and you're seated in the chair, I always recommend that you do the block instead, because you'll get a little more opening into the outer hip. So if you're here, which sometimes happens, this is much better for you. And then you're welcome to stay here with that gentle pressure, or if you want to do the forward bend, take a breath first to lengthen your spine and then come forward. It should bring a little intensification. So if you're here, it's going to look like this. We open up that outer hip. Come back up to center. We're going to come into a gentle twist. You can either cross at the knee or cross at the ankle. See which feels better. And let's twist towards that top leg. So I'm going to bring my hand across, my other hand behind me, and I'm going to twist towards that top leg. And take a breath or two here. We start to slow down in our practice. Come back to center, uncross your legs, shake out that leg a little bit. Good. Let's work on the other side. So I'm going to keep my belt across my lap and lift the other thigh now. Do a little side to side rocking. Maybe move into some circles. I left my block there in the middle. If I use it on one side, in all likelihood, you'll want it on the other side. Right. Then if you want to straighten the knee and circle your ankle after our standing poses, always feels good. And then bringing foot to floor, let's use our belt to capture that foot. So step into it. And then lifting it whatever amount works for you. Remember, walking your hands down the belt will help, and hold each side of the belt in a separate hand. That way you get a little bit more traction here. And the idea here is to press your heel away and bring your toes towards you. This can be a really big stretch. So if it's too much, you may find, oh, I can't pull my toes towards me. So relax and maybe press the heel away and then relax the foot. You can do that as many times as you need to. Make sure you're breathing, that you're not clenching your jaw. And now we're going to take it out to the side. So both ends of the strap will go in one hand, and we're going to hold the chair with the other hand, and we're going to open out to the side. And this left knee may open out, and I'm looking for that inner thigh stretch as we work those inner thigh muscles. Breathe here. And then come back to center, and your choice whether you come right to the block or to the thigh. You can probably just drop your belt off to the side. We're done with that. So if your knee is way up high here, that's a signal that the block is probably a better place for you. Right? Resting the outer edge of the foot. So gentle pressure on the thigh here to open up. And we're opening up this inner thigh area at the same time. If you want to take that forward bend, first get tall with a breath. Exhale, bring your belly forward. Should bring out intensification to the stretch. Right? Shouldn't hurt. If it hurts, don't stay. And then if you fold it forward, come back up to center. And we're going to come into our twist. So remember, you can cross at the ankle, just move the block out of your way, or cross at the knee. Opposite hand to knee, the other hand's going to reach and hold the chair. Take a breath and turn towards that top leg. Breathe here. One more breath. And slowly unwind, coming back to center. Release that leg, stretch it out. We're going to do one more stretch for our thighs. So we're going to take our block here to the center, right? And I'm bringing mine flat to the floor. And I'm going to go to my right side here first. So I'm going to bring my left shin to rest on it. I'm having my kneecap right above the block. So it's really my shin that is resting. Now, if this doesn't feel good for you, find something that will work for you, or you might even decide you need to take that a little bit higher, that might feel better and meet you where you are. Ideally, what we'd like to do is to have from the hip bone down to the knee in a straight line. So I actually have to move mine back a little bit to find that. Right. While we might have an ideal, we might not get there. So I'm sitting sideways on my chair, and I'm going to take my left hand and hold the back of the chair. My right shin is on the block. And I'm going to bring my fingertips to my shoulder. So we're trying to open up through the front of this hip. So let's start first by we're going to bend towards the hip and shorten this space. And then we're going to inhale and lift the elbow up as we arch towards the back of the chair and open up that space, and hopefully feeling stretched down into the thigh. And then bring your elbow towards your hip. Make that space small, and inhale, stretch it, open it up. We'll do that one more time towards the hip, and then inhale, open it up, and then come back to neutral. And we want to stretch this a little more if we can, so your hand can come down to your waist, and if you can bring your toes to the floor and stretch and lengthen that back leg so you feel that opening in the thigh. Again, this may not be accessible to everybody. So I'm actually straightening my knee behind me. I know. Good. And then soften that knee, come back to center. If you're puzzled, that's okay. Could be your brain is trying to learn something new. Let's do the same thing to the other side. So we're going to turn this way. Again, we want to position that block so that it's underneath your shin. And if possible, right, there's a straight line, right? So that from my hip down to my knee is one line rather than my knee being in front of me or way behind me. It's a straight line here. So play with the block height for yourself. And then fingertips are going to come to that outer shoulder. Inhale, get tall. Make sure you're holding the back of the chair. I don't want anybody to fall off. So Chris, make sure you're holding the back of the chair with the other arm. There you go. And we're going to make that space smaller. So we're going to bring the elbow towards the hip. And then we're going to lift the elbow and open up that whole side. So we're bending towards that outer hip and then lifting up. Good. So Chris, we're bending towards the outer part of the chair, towards the knee that's on the block. So not forward, but to the side, and then lifting up and bending towards the back of the chair. That's it. You got it. Last time, bending towards that hip. Good. And then lifting up. Good. Come back to center. You can bring your hand to your waist. And if you feel comfortable, curl those back toes under and see if you can stretch that leg back. It's a big stretch. Not everybody's going to feel comfortable doing that, and that's okay. And then release that leg. We're not staying there long. And holding your chair, come back to center. I threw a little curveball today, didn't I? That's okay. All right. Give your thighs a little bit of a massage and your knees a bit of a massage. Good. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, bring your belly towards your lap. Stretch out your low back for a moment. And then pressing your thighs, inhale, come up to center, roll your shoulders, and settle yourself in for Shavasana. So whether you're going to stay in the chair or move to the bed or the couch or the floor, wherever you'd like to go. I'm going to move my props off to the side and out of the way, so you may need to do the same thing. Make sure that you're going to be comfortable, you're going to be warm, although warm is not an issue today. You might even want to soften the lights a little if that's easy to do, to turn off a light. Then make sure that you feel supported. Any of the places where you need support, behind your head, behind your knees, and extra cushioning behind your back if you're staying seated. Let your eyes float closed or gaze softly down. And like one of those wonderful snow globes, feel everything begin to settle. The activity, the puzzling over, how do I do this? New sensations, working muscles in ways that maybe feels unfamiliar. Let go of any attachment to your practice, whether the practice felt good or not. Allow yourself to be here in rest. Check the places where you tend to hold tension. Typically, for most of us, the hips and low back, the shoulders and upper back, the face and jaw. Move to that place of silent serenity that lives within you. It may help to picture a place that brings that sense of peace, well-being into mind. I'll call you back in about 3 minutes. We want to come out of relaxation just as purposefully as we set ourselves up. So begin by letting go of any image you might have been using. Bring your awareness to your breath, inviting the breath to be a little deeper, taking an intentional breath in, letting it go with any sounds that might care to emerge. And then start to bring some movement. So it may start with just some wiggling of the fingers or wiggling of the toes. But let that movement enlarge in any way that you like, stretching where you are, moving whatever body parts want to be moved. If you're laying down on the bed or the floor, you'll want to at some point bend your knees. You might bring knees into chest. If you're in the chair, you might want to bring your chest towards your knees and rock a little side to side, stretch out the low back. And then for those of you laying down, do roll to your side, pause there. If you're in the chair, sit up tall and walk your sits bones forward on the chair so you bring your back away from the back of the chair. And in time, coming to your side and up to seated. So take your time. And we want to be mindful of the transition coming to wherever is best for you, whether it's to stay on the floor, to sit on the couch, sit in the chair. We'll do just a moment of some meditation. So close your eyes once you're settled and notice what in your body is calling to you. Maybe it's your knees, but maybe it's another part of your body. So bring your awareness to that part that's chatting to. And if you're not noticing anything in particular, right, just choose a place that you know generally you hold tension or have chronic discomfort in. And as you breathe into that area of your body, I'm going to choose knees, just since that's what we're working on. I want you to visualize a light that you consider warming and healing. Might be a yellow light or an orange or a red. Maybe any color that you like. And imagine that you're filling that particular part of your body with that light. That the light is moving into all the nooks and crannies, helping to illuminate the source of pain and discomfort, but also bringing a sense of warmth and healing and renewal. That warmth allowing you to relax rather than hold it tightly. Stay with that image for a few more breaths. Allow the light to gradually become smaller and smaller and smaller. So it's maybe just like a candle flame. Let the light slowly fade out. And notice that part of your body again as the light brought a little sensation of relief. It's okay if it hasn't, but sometimes visualizing the pain being drawn away or bringing comfort to that part of our body can help. If you suffer with joint pain, arthritis in your joints, right, that often can bother you at night, and here's the technique you can use to bring yourself some comfort. Allow your eyes to softly open towards the floor and then bring your hands in front of your heart as we close our time together. Thank you so much for being here today, joining me in this practice. And I pray that you be filled with peace and with joy, with love, and with light. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, everyone.